Welcome back to Shadow Phoenix Tarot. Today we have a pick your own card, and we're going to be using oracle cards for today. I have the Ascended Masters from Doreen Virtue, and I also have the Power Animal Oracle cards from Stephen Farmer. So what we have is a couple of piles that you can use to pick your intuition. This one has a pyramid. I honestly do not know what stone this is. It's so beautiful though, like gorgeous clarity. Just a tiny bit iridescent, but it's a tiny little pyramid, and I actually carry this in my pocket a lot. There's a amethyst, and then we have an orange calcite. It's like really clear though. It's almost like a peach kind of a color. It's gorgeous. So using your own intuition, choose a 2-card combo here. Pause it if you need to. And let's get started with the reading. We're going to start first with the pyramid. I'll put that up front. The angel card is persistence. And this is Lugh, L-U-G-H, not really sure how to say that. The animal card is kangaroo. For gratitude, be grateful for all you are blessed with. And I'm aware that the self-facing camera reverses everything, so that's why I'm trying to use something with pictures right now. And hopefully I'll be able to get my camera set up here moving along quickly, but thanks for bearing with me in the meantime. I'm really feeling a warm, like a gentle flame kind of energy from this pair. And he has like such a lion's mane kind of a look with this hair. I love this picture, but kind of reminds me of Leo for Leo season. It's like a lion. And with the kangaroo, then the gratitude and the persistence. I really feel like if you're finding yourself in a difficult place, the way through is going to be by accessing that gratitude. Sometimes that can feel like a really tall order if we're in the middle of something that's difficult, or we're really feeling like it's really tragic. Sometimes life can be pretty harsh, and gratitude can seem like not necessarily the most appropriate response. But if you can think of what you are grateful for, doesn't even have to be tied to the necessarily like the cloud and the silver lining. Doesn't even have to be that. But if you have any ability to be grateful, to appreciate what you have, the situation, or around it, that's going to really help you to be persistent. And sometimes I feel like with this persistence, we really take a very masculine approach to persistence and pushing through and really being forceful. And gratitude can provide the same strength and resilience with a more feminine energy where we're still in a receptive mode. We don't have to be quite so aggressive or possibly even violent energetically. We can just persistently stay where we are by being grateful. And we can kind of stand our ground doing that. And I'm thinking of the kangaroo and how they kind of will bounce back on their tails, and they'll box and kick with their feet, and they're pretty assertive animals. I mean, they're wild animals, of course. So, but they're really good at standing their ground. They don't get pushed around, and they're not necessarily, again, like a violent, like predatorial animal, like you would, again, maybe think of a lion or something that's a really aggressive animal, but they definitely aren't retiring. They're not avoidant, and being able to have an attitude of abundance, expectation, and you don't have to get pushed around. Boundaries don't always have to be an offensive maneuver. Sometimes you can just stand your ground, and sometimes the boundary is just that I'm not going to back down. Like that Tom Petty song that we all love. I won't back down. And I really like how the mom carries the baby Joey in her little pouch. And I feel like maybe that we are having access to strengths or resources internally that we take for granted, but that really are gifts. And just don't overlook any resources, anything that you can do, anything that you have. And again, it may be really commonplace for you, but that is still a resource. And, kind of like the turtle carries its home on its back. Sometimes we have things within us that they're there to help us, and we can be grateful for that. Our own inner resilience, or, our spirit family that we carry with us, or our earth family or our earth friends. Sometimes again, it can be easy to overlook things. So in your persistence, if you're having a hard time finding a way to stay open to the flow, you can do that by accessing your gratitude. All right. Now for the amethyst, we have Pavarotti, Paravati. So sorry, excuse me. And this is positive change. And the antelope, decisiveness. Make a decision and take appropriate action. This is another really feminine reading. This one's extremely feminine and also very strong. The antelope is a herd animal, and if they get spooked, they're so sensitive to the animals, the rest of their herd, that it almost can be instinctual, listening for the body language of the other antelope around them. And if they get spooked, they're threatened, if they see a predator, they will absolutely send off that signal. Their body tenses, their ears go up, their tails go up, and then they'll take off. And I'm feeling like in some sense that could be like a really great spiritual resource to be aware of what's around you. At the same time, with this card, with this positive change, I'm feeling like sometimes we might want to hold off on that and just pause for a second more before we do anything, and make sure that that decisive action that we're taking really is coming from our center. If it happens quick and we know it, then of course go with it. But if there's any doubt, then just wait. There's absolutely nothing to gain from acting outside of our center. Something will happen quickly, but if it's not from our center, all we're going to do is rush in more into danger or away from something good. Sometimes we can crave that action, wanting that other shoe to drop so much that we can do something just to upset the cart, just so that we can get that sense of relief. Sometimes that waiting can be really difficult because you want to make sure that it's positive change. You want to make sure it's positive change. It's not change just for the sake of change. This is make a decision. Also, really intentional energy about thinking through, feeling through, sensing through what's going on inside you and within you, then being really deliberate about choosing a course of action and following through on that. Antelope, of course, run very fast, so there's no fear that once you make up your mind about something, that you have the ability to see it through. And that is probably even more the reason to hold off and wait, because when you do something, you're going to go out there and you're going to get it done. And so make sure that when you go out there, you take action. It is inspired. It is something that you're 100%, you have conviction on. And again, there's absolutely no fear of waiting. Any threat is generally not going to be real. Have you ever heard the acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real? FEAR, fear, false evidence appearing real. If you're in danger and you have time to think about it, you are not that much in danger. If it's not an animal popping out, or, a robber or somebody popping out to get you, it's generally not time to think about that. But if you have time to stop and think, utilize that time. Don't just feel pressured into an action because somebody's pressuring you or the situation feels threatening, let that be okay to sit and wait. Definitely a very feminine energy of kind of almost like the last one. Hold your ground until you're ready to do something. This is definitely about taking action, making a decision. But just be sure that when you unleash this power, that you are moving forward in a real direction that you really want to go. Let's switch that with this. And the calcite. I love calcite. Oh my goodness. Teacher. And I'm not even going to try to say that name. Pardon me, but no. And Cougar for confidence. Be bold and take charge. Wow. Definitely a bit more of a masculine feel to this energy with this reading. Not necessarily, I mean, not like harsh or anything, but definitely with the cougar, ton of power, so much power in this card and in this animal. If you have this animal for a totem, then of course, you know, we did a meditation on the lion yesterday in group with a big group of women and all the felines, so powerful, even house cats. Extremely powerful. It's not the size and it's not the muscle. It's an energetic thing. And of course, you know, 500 pounds of muscle doesn't hurt. Same thing with the teacher. This person is, I feel like there's the sensitivity in this card duo right here. And with the teacher, there's a lot of sensitivity. There's, this person's been educated, you know, either academically with formal study or just through life experience, which of course is, let's say, the best. Academic study is valid socially in the 3D world, of course, but real learning takes place, you know, energetically for us as we experience life. So this teacher is extensive. They've had life experience, they've had wounding, they've had healing, and they've done that process enough where they feel like they can help other people learn whatever it is that they have to teach. And this be bold and take charge with the teacher, I feel like whoever this is for, it's time for you to step forward, be bold, offer what you have. Can be really intimidating to think, well, who am I to do this or say this, or, you know, who hasn't already said this before, and really easy to doubt ourselves and not take up that position. And it can be really hard to be seen. You know, the cougar sometimes, you know, when they're hunting, they go into stealth mode. And teacher is somebody who's seen, even if you're leading from behind, you still have a position, especially energetically, where you're having a lot of eyes on you. That can be really unnerving. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of that. If you're a teacher and you don't teach, I would suggest that you might be more afraid of not teaching. If you have a life path, if you have a calling, if you have a life's work, maybe it's even just for a season you're feeling like you're being put in a position or asked, even at work, even something really mundane, and you don't do it and you don't pass it by, and you really feel like it's spirit, you know, working through you or trying to develop you or giving you an opportunity. If there's an opportunity there, take it. And if you don't, there can be, I say, danger in that, but you know, if you don't grow, if you just start closing off, especially due to fear, but it's not something that you don't want to do, of course. If it's not resonating with you, of course, that's not a conversation, don't do it. But the cougar card saying be bold really makes me feel like there is some fear. That's an element there for somebody, some feeling of holding back or shutting down, or, you know, it can be difficult, again, just to have eyes on you, to be seen, and to offer your life experience. You put yourself at risk of being judged, or, you know, somebody saying, well, what you're offering is not really worthwhile. You're not really worthwhile. It can be hard. But this cougar, nobody's going to say that to this cougar. There's great strength and power here. Just this cougar going through life and doing what it does every day to eat, to survive. That's a story right there. And don't doubt your story either, teacher. Be bold. Say what you have to say. Doesn't necessarily have to be loud or long, but if it's true for you and it comes from inside, then the world needs to hear it, and you need to say it. Sometimes it's not so much about what the world needs to hear, but that we need to say it. We need to hear ourselves say it. We need to go through the process of sharing who we are, being vulnerable, offering the world back. All of that life experience that the world has offered us, that we've gone through, we need to offer that back to the world, because we are alchemists. We transmute that energy, we change it, we develop, we grow. And that energy is different when we give it back than when we take it in, and that's part of the process. So honor that process. You would never say to anybody else that their experience isn't valuable or what they do energetically isn't important. I really like this pairing. And this even says not only be bold, but take charge. So for some people, being a teacher is not going to be about, accepting an invitation necessarily. It may be grabbing the power, maybe grabbing the reins, much like the cougar does when the cougar's going out there hunting, not asking permission. Yeah, he has his knowing from inside, and he pounces, he waits, and he waits. And when that perfect moment comes by, he strikes quickly, decisively. So teachers, some of you, it's not going to be like a real prim, proper kind of a thing. Could be in the middle of life, could be in the middle of a situation that you could find yourself in unexpectedly, and somehow something that nobody around you does that you need, that the situation calls for, and that you have, and step up to it. Don't be afraid. Offer what you have, offer your knowing, your experience. Could be professional, could be, somebody gets hurt on the street and you're maybe you're an EMT or something, or you've had training or something, and there's any kind of situations that you're just out there doing your day, and then all of a sudden, hey, somebody needs you. Could be emotionally too. So many situations where this could be, and I'm sure that there's many ways that this is going to manifest for people. But I'm interested to hear if anybody gets this set, what comes up, or what you're going through right now where this may be arising into your consciousness, and what your decision is and how you're feeling about it. And I'd love to hear how it turns out. I really feel like there's a lot of power in this set here. A lot of speed, a lot of power, a lot of decisiveness, completing things. I really like this. I'm trying to be quiet because the kids are asleep, so I can't get too excited. All right, so thank you so much for joining me this evening. If you would like to book a personal reading, please see the details in the description box below. And thanks for sharing. Thank you for letting me read for you this evening.